not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, and then we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
Be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, and then we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
Hello and welcome to The Reporter, a news and current affairs program that goes beyond the headlines, bringing reporters from the field to give first-hand accounts and in-depth analysis of unfolding issues, correspondents' perspectives, ensuring balanced, credible, and comprehensive storytelling. Welcome once again. I am Anieti Patrick. Well, as Nigeria prepares to implement a new tax law from January 1st, 2026, concerns and expectations are growing among citizens, from traders to professionals. Many are trying to understand how the new law will affect their income and daily lives. Global Television's correspondent Priscilla Obasi tells us more.
As conversations around the 2026 tax laws begin to surface, the question is not just about what the policy says, but who actually understands it. So we stepped out to ask everyday Nigerians one simple question. Have you heard about the 2026 tax law, and what comes to your mind when you do?
When I heard about the new tax law, I felt that it could be another means of generating more revenue for the nation. But on the other hand, based on the the narratives out there, it's as if another way again to exploit the citizens.
Me, I felt we've already started paying a lot of tax already because of the VAT and everything they take from, you go to the supermarket to buy something, anything you buy, they remove money, you recharge, they remove, you pay into somebody's account, they remove. Somebody pay into your account, they remove, and the rest. I think that one is already enough tax. I think so.
While some residents expressed concerns about increased financial pressure amidst economic hardship, others said effective taxation could improve governance if managed transparently.
It's not bad, because if you are in level 1, you will still struggle to go to upper level.
To provide clarity on the policy, a tax expert who appeared on Global Morning explained that the new law is designed to simplify the tax system and improve accountability, but warned that public awareness and fairness will be key to its success.
A lot of people get this confused, right? It's not your whole salary that will be taxed. You will still get some statutory deductions that are allowable, for ascertaining your taxable income. Those will still be allowable even in the new regime. And then the tax table has also been revised from what it used to be.
As the policy draws close to implementation, the conversation continues around communication, trust, and implementation. For now, the conversation continues. I am Priscilla Obasi, reporting for Global Television News. As conversations around the
Be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, then we put ourselves to carrying out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
Be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, then we put ourselves to carrying out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
Be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, then we put ourselves to carrying out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
As troops continue to record major operational gains against terrorism, insurgency, kidnapping, oil theft, and other criminal activities. This assurance was given during a high-level defense briefing with the Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja in Abuja. Our defense correspondent, Kike Lomo Okere, has the details.
The military authorities reviewed the current threat environment, interagency collaboration, the resilience and professionalism of troops confronting complex and asymmetric security challenges nationwide in the year 2025. According to the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, the review is aimed at strengthening strategic decision-making, improving operational effectiveness, and setting clear security priorities for the coming year. The military emphasized that its core mandate remains the protection of citizens and personnel, while also keeping the public informed about the ongoing operations and achievements across the theaters. Within the period under review, troops, in collaboration with other security stakeholders, neutralized several top terrorist commanders, their lieutenants, and foot soldiers. In addition, 4,375 suspected criminals were arrested, while 1,616 terrorists surrendered along with their families. The military also confirmed the successful rescue of 2,336 kidnapped victims across different operational zones.
Now, we also arrested 1,323 suspects alongside their collaborators, gun runners, sympathizers, and 1,616 terrorists surrendered to troops in the Operation Hadinkai area, while 498 kidnapped hostages were rescued. Troops also recovered various arms, ammunition, vehicles, equipment, and a cumulative sum of 32 million naira in cash.
In the Niger Delta region, the director reveals that troops under Operation Delta Safe intensify action against oil theft and pipeline vandalism, significantly disrupting illegal activities and contributing to efforts aimed at boosting Nigerian crude oil production and safeguarding national assets. The briefing also provided an operational update on the 6th Defense Headquarters Joint Task Force in the Northeast, Operation Hadinkai, covering Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe State, continued to maintain relative stability in the region. The military, however, acknowledged that the remnants of Boko Haram and the Islamic State West African province still pose threats through isolated attacks, use of improvised explosive device, and remote operations targeting civilians and security forces.
Neutralized several criminal elements, arrested 778 criminals and their cohorts, and rescued 53 kidnapped victims. They also foiled oil thefts valued at 8,918,647,206 naira, representing 16,623,542 liters of crude oil.
Despite recorded successes, including arrests, rescues, and neutralization of armed groups, security challenges persist, underscoring the need for sustained military pressure, improved intelligence, and stronger civil-military cooperation. As the year 2025 draws to a close, the Armed Forces says operation will continue with renewed focus on protecting lives, securing communities, as well as strengthening national stability. From Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News. The military authorities reviewed the current...
And joining us now is our correspondent Kike Lomo Okeri to give us more updates on that report and what's the summary of that particular operations went down at the Defense Headquarters. Hello Kike, it's good to have you join us.
Hello Anita, compliment of the season.
Compliment of the season to you too. Well, let's quickly get down to this. With the military reporting thousands of arrests, rescues, and surrenders, how should Nigerians measure real progress in the fight against insecurity by statistics, by safety on the ground, or by long-term stability in affected communities?
All right, the latest briefing of the Armed Forces project. First, confidence, capability, and renewed strategic focus on the fight against insecurity. On the surface, the figures released and the arrests, the surrenders, the rescue and recovery suggest tangible progress across multiple theaters. However, beyond the numbers lies a more complex security reality that demands sustained momentum, deeper coordination, and long-term solution beyond security military forces alone. And there is need for the military to collaborate with the society so that they can get more information. That is when the civil military comes to play. They need to mingle with the communities, especially the community leaders, so that they can get more information, which is more significant from the briefing.
Own share of insecurity issues and concerns raised. Despite this reported gains, remnants of Boko Haram and ISWAP are still carrying out attacks. Does this point to a new need or a need for new tactics, stronger interagency coordination, or deeper community-based intelligence to finally neutralize this threats of insecurity in the country?
You know, there is a risk that surrender element that could either relapse into violence or fuel local resentment. So in order for this not to happen, there is going to be more interagency collaboration repeatedly highlighted in the briefing, and there is going to be more sister agency collaborating with the Nigerian military to be able to combat these security challenges and multifaceted security challenges across the nation.
A strike by the U.S. So does this also include the measure which is part of the intelligence sharing with the foreign base to see how insecurity can be tackled in the nation?
Actually, they talk about the foreign base collaboration, especially the border security. They are going to tighten its border security to ensure that there is safety for Nigeria, for Nigerians.
So much for being a part of the program. We look forward that into the year 2026, Nigerians will have the need to celebrate being safe at home and having a safe environment for us to have more business coming into the nation. Thank you so much, Kike.
Thank you.
Well, let's move away to our foreign scene. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is called Israel's recognition of Somaliland illegitimate and unacceptable as he hosted a visit by his Somali counterpart. At a press conference following bilateral talks, both Erdogan and Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud condemned the recognition of Somaliland as an independent state by Israel, with Turkey pledging to stand by the Somali people. Over to Uyi Agumofebe for more details.
Israel sparked criticism last Friday when it said it was officially recognizing Somaliland, a breakaway territory in Somalia's north. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar defended the decision to recognize Somaliland. The declaration was a first for the territory, which in 1991 had unilaterally declared secession from Somalia.
Strongly rejected Prime Minister Netanyahu's illegal aggression in recognizing part of Somalia's northern regions as an independent state. This aggression and the blatant meddling constitute a clear violation of the international law, the Charter of the United Nations, the Constitutive Act of the African Union, and all established diplomatic norms.
Turkey, a close ally of Somalia, has frequently clashed with Israel over a range of issues, especially the conflict in Gaza and Israeli obstruction of aid to the Palestinian territory. He called Netanyahu's Somaliland declarations violation of international law and the start of insecurity and instability, especially for Somalia and the African region. Uyi Agumofwegbe reporting for Global TV News.
And joining me live now in the studio is Uyi Agumofwegbe to bring us up to speed with the fact that Uyi, it's good to have you. Compliment of the season.
I wish you same, man. Yes, good to see you.
Same here. So let's quickly get to this. What are the wider geopolitical and insecurity or security implications of Israel's recognition of Somali, especially for Somalians' sovereignty and stability in the Horn of for Africa right now, following this issue happening with them for them at the Somalian state there?
First of all, the response to this declaration by Israel was as expected because Israel had declared that it now recognizes Somaliland as a sovereign state, which of course, even though it's an independent entity or territory, so to say, the Somali government believes that it is part and parcel of it. So pretty much like the China-Taiwan issue and all of that. So we've seen responses from Egypt, we've seen responses from even Turkey. Of course, Turkey has always had its own, if you like, divergence with Israel on quite a number of issues, now including this particular one, right? So the long and short of the story is that the Turkish government, under the leadership of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, is kicking against the fact that Israel went ahead to recognize this entity as against, acknowledging that it is one and same with Somalia as we know it.
Well, there's a whole lot of things, but let's look at the Turkey. With Turkey and African Union and the EU rejecting Israel's move as illegal, does this recognition risk setting a dangerous precedent or for secessions? It is what like the secessionist movements across Africa, because that's one concern I see where they are raising, the Turkey is raising basically.
The fear really ultimately, Nancy, is that if this is not properly handled, because apparently it's a delicate matter already, it could become more like, if you like, a pawn where you see Turkey and these other countries that do not accept it, who say it is illegitimate, it is illegal, on the one hand, and maybe the West, of course, with Israel, on the other hand, now making Somalia more like you are saying with Ukraine, more like you're saying with Gaza and things like that. But then, analysts are also now telling us that you can't take away economic interest, which of course, Turkey is also pursuing. And the Turkish president, Erdogan, made it very clear to President Mahmoud of Somalia to say, look, we are going to resume exploration of natural resources again as quickly as possible. So who would have thought we'll be talking about natural resources and things like that in the middle of all this? But Somalia must now be more forward-looking. Somalia must also now find a local, or if you like, an indigenous approach to solving its own problem, because on the one hand, we understand that Somalia is on the continent of Africa, while the other country, Turkey, that appears to be in love now with Somalia, is on a different continent.
I like the context of the in love that you mentioned, because I'm just looking at the scenario where this would be a safe landing and they won't have to have issues back and forth. That's like we mentioned, we don't have to like have the issue of Ukraine and all that's playing out in this kind of, because sovereignty of a nation is very important, and that's where there's usually the back and forth to wanting to ensure that their sovereignty is intact and nobody's taking that away from them.
Right, of course, naturally, because whether you like it or not, the president of Somalia had to make this move just to see how much of support he can enlist from his Turkish counterpart, which makes a lot of sense. And we're seeing Egypt and several other countries throwing their weight behind Turkey. And we wouldn't be surprised in the days ahead to see China, Russia, and even countries within the Gulf region also, registering officially support for Somalia and the people of that country.
Well, thank you so much. We hope that going into 2026, into the new year, that this plays out well in favor of both countries, and then we have a safe landing for everything. Thank you so much, Uyi. Well, it's an amazing time here on The Reporter. As always, we always bring you up to speed with stories making headlines and also giving you what makes it interesting for you to stay glued to our station. Well, that's the size of the program. Thank you for staying with us on The Reporter. A quick reminder that Global Television is on channel 365 on DSTV and channel 276 on StarTimes. So stay connected. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms using at Global TV NG. Until we come your way in the new year, we say compliments of the season. I am Anihiti Patrick. Bye for now.
Mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service, and then we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.